Okay, so as we left off in the area that we know of as Bosnian, we didn't have anybody identified as Bosnians there yet. The people that were there, again, are known as Illyrians. So if you're asking who are the first people we know by name that has come down to us through history that lives in the space that is now Bosnia, the answer would be the Illyrians. And what do we know about the Illyrian people? Not much, to be frank, because as other cultures moved into the area, as other nations moved into the area, the Illyrians were dispersed throughout those cultures. And anything we know of that might come directly from people known as the Illyrians is not clear. We know again that the language is similar to Albanian in some ways. We know, for instance, that the Illyrians practice a form of facial tattooing that made its way into many other cultures in the area. But that's about it. So, when did the Bosnians come? So, as the Roman Empire expands and becomes engaged in turmoil, we have a group of people, a set of tribes from what we think is kind of the area of the Ukraine that move down into the area of Bosnia. And what do we know about those people? Their language is different. They all speak a Slavic language. And along with that comes their own sort of set of cultural norms and ideas. But they eventually move down, as you see in this map, into the area of Bosnia. So, what scholars would suggest we know about these first people that we would then refer to as Bosnians, what do we know? Really, about all we can say is the first Bosnians were the Slavic people who lived in Bosnia. And then that is where kind of the history of people that we think of as Bosnia and Bosnian Americans eventually will be coming from. Okay. So, as I said again, the Roman Empire is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it gets so big that it splits into two different areas. It is now referred to as the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. At the same time, this expansive empire is taking on Christianity as its dominant religion, its state sponsored religion. And you have two different sort of branches of Christianity are going to develop. You have on that eastern side that you see there, Orthodox Christianity, and then on that red side, you have Catholicism. And in 1054, we're going to have this thing called the Great Split, where you have the Great Schism basically separates these two areas into two different areas that are dominated by two different religious interpretations of Christianity. And if you look down here, well, this is identified as Croatia. This is your area of Bosnia down here in 1054. And although there are people who are identifying as Croatian here, there are also people in here that are identifying in Bosnia. And this is not one unified kingdom here. The first actual textual evidence that we have of a place known as Bosnia, in fact, comes from 958. And so this is before that schism. That's why when you look at that map, when it says Croatia, that's really a typo on that map, because the largest kingdom in this area in 958 is a kingdom that is referred to as the Kingdom of Bosnia. And there are documents that refer to the country of Bosnia and the king of Bosnia. And at this time, Bosnia is really the largest independent kingdom within this area. Now, it's still considered at this time part of the Eastern Russian sort of empire, part of that Roman Empire. But in 958, we see that outside of that, Bosnia is really becoming an independent nation. And people are starting to refer to themselves as Bosnians.